Hey there, friendlies. How's up? Welcome to the 12th of November episode of the Beer Blades and Bushcraft live stream. A little late, but I'm here. Better late than never, right? In fact, you guys should have received the notice that I was going on at 9:30 instead of 9 today for two reasons. One, I had a prior obligation. Two, it worked out well because Dennis over at Canoe Hound Adventures had Kevin Callan on. Callan. I know him as the Happy Camper more than I know him as his last name. But anyways, he was interviewing the Happy Camper tonight, and I think that would have been fabulous. I'm kind of broken up that I wasn't here to watch it, because what I usually do every week is I watch Dennis's live stream until it's time for mine, because he goes on, I think, at 7, and I go on at 9. I keep thinking I'd like to change my night so that Dennis and I don't clash, because I really think his live stream is worth watching all the time. But anyway, that's for another time. Aside from that, what do I want to say? Sorry, I just took all the light away. Maybe, when I'm back working, I'll just get like a little LED light to put right up there and get a better wash of light right here. But anyways, I'm not going to think about that right now. I got me a beer. Hey, Tenenbaum, you have both going on there? Yeah, is that conversation still going strong? Bellissimo, did you get to watch Dennis's? Hey there, Outdoor Dauber. Outdoor, two things. I keep meaning to drop you a line about something. So please, after the live stream, if you're still awake and I'm still awake, ping me on Signal to remind me that I've been trying to ping you. I've been trying to take the time to ping you for like 2 weeks now. Oh, wow. Tenenbaum, I would love to hear that. Do you remember offhand if Dennis leaves his live streams up, or if he takes them down right afterwards? Like, I leave mine up for 2 or 3 days, and then I take them down, just because some people watch them after the fact. But yeah, I would find that very interesting. I got a beer. I got a little Lefroy for later, and I've got some tea. So I think we're well equipped on my side of the screen. I don't know about you guys. Anyone know if Serge is joining us tonight? Serge and his brother make for good conversation. His brother just made a nice new sheath for a new knife he's got. Outdoor Dauber, that knife that you got as part of that Bushcraft USA pass around is Jesse Kryptonite. I love, because it's essentially a Woodlore clone, and that's my favorite knife shape. Can I show it? Can I show it to the guys? Mr. Dauber? Mr. Dauber, can I show it to the guys? I'm just going to bring it up just in case he says yes, because it's a really nice knife. Guys, I keep saying haven't got that shipping quote yet, and this is the last week for archery season, so you're going to be in the woods and such. That's fine. Don't worry about it. I'm in no hurry.
I'm trying to get Post-its.
Do you have any Post-its?
I have some. Don't worry, Daddy.
If you need some, I've got some here. I just almost. There you go.
Daddy?
Yes?
Do you see all these Post-its?
Yes, I see all these Post-its.
I got 4 of them.
Okay.
I'm fine.
All right. Popeye square.
Bye. Oh, thank you, by the way.
It's like 9:30. They're still doing homework upstairs. Hey, Tyler. How's it going? Hold on. Yeah, Outdoor, don't worry about the shipping quote. I'm not in a big hurry, so don't worry about it. Tyler's here. Nice to see you. Yeah, they're doing homework. Camille has a quiz at the end of the week, and it's funny. Like, she's learning stuff about the Canadian Shield and the Appalachians, and all the regions of Quebec. And like, sometimes I'll hear them doing the homework, and I have these memories of when I was learning all that as a kid, and like the Iroquois Confederacy and all that stuff. Well, they're not on Iroquois Confederacy yet, but they're on, Bering Land Bridge. The ancestors of the Les Autochtones, the First Nations people, and like how the Iroquois settled around here and everything. And I get these like flashes of memory of when I was learning that stuff, and that's kind of weird for me because I have virtually no memories of my childhood. Not going to TMI you guys, it's a weird story, but I remember almost nothing, like even my early teenagehood. But every now and again, like I get this flash of something. It's kind of a weird feeling, Tyler and Nick are here. The knife is made by at the end of the pass round it'll be a giveaway. Wow, that's cool. Did Outdoor say? Yeah, sure, show it off. Yeah. So check this knife out, guys, if I can get it to focus. Okay, I've got the brightness all the way down. Gonna show off a knife. Come on, phone. This, man, I mean, it's a loaner phone. I don't want to sound ungrateful, but this phone is one of those where, you're typing away and nothing happens, and then it all just goes like a few minutes into your typing session. Yeah, man, it's my favorite knife shape. Oh, piss. Hold on. Like I tap it and nothing happens, and so I tap it again and then everything happens, Come on. Focus. If I hide my face. Is that like that doesn't look like a micarta handle. Is that like a G10 handle or Corian or something? Tyler, braised is the second spelling you used there. Zach is here. How's it going, mister? All hail the ale. I got me some ale, and I got me a very accessible bottle of scotch tonight. Still single malt. It's not like cask strength or anything, but it's fine. It's fine. It's this was one of my favorites back before I discovered, cask strength, and it's before my tastes got really stupidly expensive. I still drink it for old time's sake. Excuse me, sinuses are getting me crazy again. Oh, hey RDB. Just finished dinner, braised bone-in pork, potatoes, carrots, and onion. We had meatballs and rice tonight. Homemade meatballs, right? We don't, you're not going to buy them meatballs at IKEA, you know what I'm saying? Corian scales, yeah. I think you guys have all seen the kitchen knife that I rehandled in white. That was a Corian handle as well. It's got some weight to it, but I like that. I like the handle to have just a little weight. Well, for a kitchen knife, for something like a Woodlore clone, mine it's desert ironwood, so they're not too heavy. They've got some heft to them, but not like a Corian handle would. So what do you think of the balance? Origin requires a critical update. Oh, God, why? Origin, why? Where was I? Oh, I just want to keep Sal shows up with I like the meatballs at IKEA. I love it. Excuse me. Tyler. Oh yes, the braised, okay. Old Lang Syne. Should old acquaintance be forgot and never come to mind? It's enough of that. That's for later. I want to bring one thing up before. I don't want to get caught up on this or anything, but I do want to bring one thing up that kind of affects this live stream. I shared a video by Markiplier this week because in his live streams, first of all, his live streams get many people, and he was asking them to vote using whatever smileys are called now. Emoji. And a lot of his viewers, like his subs, got their accounts completely erased for spam because somehow using all their emojis and a lot of repetition twigged the algorithm. Okay, so I just wanted to spread the word here that let's keep the emojis like to one at a time and not very often. Anything like, remember Outdoor, you used to sort of keep a running tally of things. Let's not do that because I don't want anyone to lose their accounts on my watch. There's all kinds of weird stuff going on right now. The 10th of December, they're moving the goalposts, and channels like mine may just get taken away anyway. But I don't want to dwell on this right now. But I do definitely have to work hard to get my numbers and my watch time up. So where are we? Sales, those meatballs are a pale shadow of the real deal. I can well imagine that. Cannot get decent poutine there. Can you get any poutine there in Sweden, Tenenbaum? Emoji, yes. You'd rather fake an injury than go to IKEA. Man, I hear you. I'm in IKEA for like 10 minutes and I get snaky. It's not as bad as Costco though. Now there are two sides to the Costco thing though. First of all, I walk in and I feel like the world is ending. And second, I have a really hard time walking past the really affordable massive TVs. Hey, Hamza's here. Salut, comment va, monsieur? I need to go to Canoecopia. Yes, I know, Tyler. I know. I've been waiting for the kids to be old enough that I won't feel guilty for leaving for a weekend. And man, I want to go to Canoecopia. I want to go to. Okay, I'm going to say this right. Utwine? Outdoor? Utwine? Utwine? Damn it. Wow. Okay. I'm just reading back to Outdoor. He got back to me about the balance of the Corian handles on that big meaty knife. It's 1/8 of an inch. Nice. Hamza, I've asked in 2 Facebook groups now about that axe you got. Axe junkies, I got nothing. So I asked in the axe and woodworking appreciation group. And there's a couple of things, but nothing concrete. But one guy said, and this makes sense to me, to check out like French axes. To me, I thought it kind of looked like a German one, but not exactly like, the Rhineland pattern or the Montreal pattern, but not quite. Guys, Hamza sent me, actually, maybe I can show it. Hamza, can I show the pictures? Outvine, yes, perfect. Sorry guys, my sinuses are just, they're just killing me tonight. They're not killing me, they're just making me highly uncomfortable. Let me see if I can find those pictures that Mr. Ksuri sent me. Oh, I got a message here from Tyler. Tyler, I'll check that out as soon as we're done on this here live streamage. Looks like a good sized axe, mister. Oh, God, Zooks. Hey, I got an idea. Boom. If I hide the light. See, like the bottom of it, it looks like a really elongated Montreal pattern, but the top of it kind of doesn't. I don't know what it is. I'm thinking maybe there's something to this. Maybe being a French axe. Did you get it locally, Hamza? Oh, divide. Serge says, your thoughts on the YouTube thing. The more they push out the little guys, the more it will open the door to a competitor. I'm very much hoping that happens. But I really want to be careful what I'm saying because the license changes on the 10th kind of make me think that they're looking for a way to just start dropping off guys, especially guys who are part of the YouTubers union or something, you know. Nick took some NyQuil. Whoops. Flea market, $3. Hamza, man, you're even worse than Outdoor Dauber. That guy gets like, oh yeah, I got a Hudson's Bay blanket for $4. Well, he didn't, but you actually did. You got a Hudson's Bay blanket for really affordable. Outdoor. That's funny. I don't want to drink all the tea right now. We got 9 guys on. Is it time to discuss beer? He said while looking for his beer opening apparatus. Yeah, it's funny because when Hamza showed off that what Hudson's Bay blanket he got, it's like I have wanted a 4-point, the traditional, you know, the cream, the off-white with the 4 colors. I've wanted a 4-point blanket forever. Ever. Like for my bed. But I would also like a smaller one. Was it a 2-point or whatever? Like something sized for bushcraft, for camping, you know? They're so bloody expensive. Oh, by the way, outdoor. I also finally hit the local discount store, whatever they're called. You know, like where you go every week. You know, those secondhand store. I know that none of you are going to know what a frippery is, so I'm trying to think of what the term is, but like, you know, Goodwill or something. And there was nothing there, man. It was just nothing. I was looking for any kind of wool blanket. Nothing. They had like some ratty old Star Wars flannel sheets. They had some Paw Patrol flannel sheets. Like nothing. And then I looked in the cookware area to see if maybe there was an old Serge. I know I'm letting you down here. I'll just set that aside for now. There's nothing, you know. Tyler Wood got an LLB and Microlight tent brand new for $5. What? Where'd you find that? That's a cool purchase, man. It's beer o'clock. Yes, it is. Except that I've made it head o'clock. Yeah, Hamza, you've got the luck, man. You're chanceux as hell. Just suppose which side of the board you're using this key on, right? Goodwill, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we're on the wait list. Okay, good to know. Thrift store, yeah. Drinking a Ramos Gin Fizz. Okay. All right. That's legit. Nick Adams, how's it going? Yeah, Tyler, man, that's an excellent purchase. That's an excellent. Man, where did you get that? That's a good tent for $5. Jeez. Exactly. I was like, Serge is gonna see this massive head and think, nah, Jess, why you got to be doing that, man? Just maybe pour a little bit more. Pour it slowly. Slowly. Do 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 do. Going well. Busy the last few weeks, and you wasn't able to. Oh, it's okay. Oh, your girlfriend, you had her granddaughter. Oh, that's nice. How old is she? Tyler, I can well imagine. Where did you get that? And did they have a second one? I love that feeling when you get that, when you hit on that kind of a deal. You're like, oh, look. Oh, buying it, you know? Yes, outdoor. I'm pretty sure we all. Girlfriend says a Dickens cider. Hilariously, Zach, YouTube didn't want to show that line of yours, probably because of the word Dickens. Oh, she's 3. Yeah, Nick, I can see that. I can see that. Camille, when she was 3, she was a bit of a 3-nager, but not too bad. The 2s were really rough. Well, it's weird. The latter part of the 2s and beginning of the 3s were really rough, but you know. Yeah, Tyler Wood, man. I'm so glad you got that deal. I love hearing about stuff like that. Just looking. How long, Nick? How long do you guys have the girl over for? Oh yeah, yeah. I can see that. The nice thing about being a grandparent or like an aunt or an uncle is you can play with the kid while they're cute, and then sort of hand them off when they're not, when they become a little more attitudinal. This is just becoming comical. It looks like one of them ice cream floats. So I'm going to let that calm down, and then I will take a sip, and I'll show you guys what this actually is. Tyler Wood. Oh, just like at a flea market. Nice. Nice. Outdoor. Yes, we probably all want to know what your bushcraft purchase was. Give it up, Holmes. Did you send it to me? Am I going to have a picture to show? Turn on heat in the basement, please. It's on. Excuse me, guys. I have to turn up the heat in the basement. I guess the girls are cold upstairs. Zach. I wish I could sometimes pass my siblings off to someone. See, well, imagine when Camille will be a teenager. No, it's going to be horrible. I know it. I just know it. I mean, she's a good girl, but she's stubborn, man. Tyler Wood, let's talk twig stoves. What do you recommend? Whoa, that's sharp. That's effulgent. I'm gonna do this, and then I'm gonna open up everyone who has a lot of experience with twig stoves. Get your recommendations up for Tyler. This is by Microbrasserie de La Fabrique, which is in Matan. I think last week's beer was also from the Fabrique in Matan. This is Salamagon. I don't know what the hell that means. It's an American amber ale. 4.8%, so it's a little light, but that's fine. It's a 500 ml. I like their bottle designs. I like how sort of, old school they look. The beer I like as well. In the range of like my favorites versus my non-favorites, they're kind of in the middle. And this tastes like it's a little sharper than a lot of ales are to me. Like ales are a lot more on the malty side than like the hoppy side, like a beer is. It's pretty good. It's got like a bitterness going, but I'm good with that. I don't mind a bitter. Yeah, I'd buy it again. The best before date on their beer comes up real fast though, compared to some other things like Budweiser or whatever. So when you buy it, you gotta stay on top of it. Let me see. Outdoor Dauber. Lowe's has Corona 10-inch folding saws on clearance for $12.10 locally. Wow. Wow, okay. I would buy one of those. Camille needs a saw. Toast titanium stoves are cool. Yes, I have heard that as well, Zach. I don't have one. I have a really small twig stove. My main twig stove is an IKEA cutlery caddy that I cut a square hole out of, and I use that most of the time. I did a video on it back when I was still doing craft videos, a few years ago anyway. But Canoe Hound, Dennis at Canoe Hound, he just did a video on a really cool one because it was like one that you fold, but it doesn't have hinges on it. It's all pieces that just click together, which I like better. I don't like the idea of a hinge on my stove. I would much prefer it to just click together like that. All right, Hamza, good night. Jonathan Millie's here. How's it going, mister? Wait. I want to go back. Yeah, Sal says we'll trade girls for a week. We'll see who survives. Says, I told you mine, I just got her orange belt a couple of weeks ago, didn't I? Nice article at Outvine. I'm going to open that in a new tab and read it afterwards. Jonathan Millie, how's it going? What's going on? Got a wood gasifier stove that breaks down in nest, works really well. Really? I have never even heard of that. Hold on while I pop open another tab. And right, the bloody keyboard shortcuts don't work the same in Windows as they do in Mac OS. I keep bloody. Ohu stove, Ohu portable stainless steel wood burning camping stove, $21. They got a cool one for $30. All right, I'm gonna share this if I can figure out how the bloody hell Windows works. Hold on. Jonathan, did you get the round one? Because I saw like a round one in the link I just put up there for $21. Kanakian. Outer Worlds is worth it. Oh, Zach, man, I can well imagine. I am definitely. I'm not supporting that store, but you can get it through the Microsoft store as well. I'm just waiting to get some money together, and I'm gonna jump all over that. Mike Static, really? Hold on. How's that? Are we good? I wonder if... Okay, I'm not hearing any static. Are you guys still hearing static? It's the round one, okay. Tyler's been thinking of doing how to build a wood burner stove for tents for winter. Like a canvas tent? I'll go. I had some feedback. Hey, Rick Anderson, how's it going? Outdoor Dollar has built a Ranger mountain stove, which is a gasifier. So no static now? Okay. I wonder if it's like if I tapped the wire or something. That was a open another window. Yeah. It's a pretty good beer. It's a pretty good goddamn beer. Yep. These stoves look almost impossibly affordable. Like they're stainless, you know? What? That Ohuhu one is exactly the same as a Lixada one. So obviously they're made in the same factory, and they just yeah. There's a Tom shoe as well. That's exactly the same. We're all probably made in the same factory, and there's sent out the door. You know. Yeah, I'm gonna look at those a little closer once we're done here. Yes, but one you could use for tarp shelter using like a can, an ammo or a jerry can. Okay. Yep. Yeah, I would watch that. That's for sure. Jonathan made a gasifier a couple of years ago with 2 nested cans, drilling a few holes, but it rusted apart, so he wanted to buy something more durable. Well, you know, and to a certain extent, my IKEA twig stove was a very similar story in that I was just looking for something that I could afford at the time. And that was, you know, I didn't know much about twig stoves. Like, you're researching your twig stoves, and it's like, there are billions. You know, there are billions of them. How do you make a choice? And why the hell is this one $100 when this one's 30? You know. So yeah, I could see that. Once they rust apart, you kind of, if it works long enough that it rusts apart on you, you're sort of clear on what it is you want anyway. So that's the time to spend your money. Whereas spending your money before then is sort of like, I would like to do my research before I spend money on anything. Because especially if you're buying things like an axe or a knife, right? You know, if you buy something you hate, that's an expensive mistake. And with wood stoves, because there is such a massive range of prices, like, is a $20 stove going to rust apart on you the way a $100 stove won't? Or is the $100 stove just $100 because it's titanium, so it weighs like nothing? I don't know. But what I do know is I want to know what format I like best before I spend big on, say, the ultralight stove kind of thing, you know? For the same reason, my gas stove is just that little single, what's it called? My Primus Classic, you know, trail stove. Works fine. I know, you know, and it's helping me sort of figure out over time whether I want something different as a trail stove or not. One thing I would like is to get something to solidify the bottom of the gas canisters a little bit when I put it down on like an uneven rock or stump or something, you know, like something with some legs to it, which I think I've seen you can buy something like that. Aside from that, it's a great little package. They're affordable as hell. You know, you can stick my Moore's pot on it. Works fine, you know? And the reason I bought it was because it was affordable enough that if I didn't like it, it was like $21. Meh, give it to someone, you know? So let me see. Outdoor, no, really, when you went to open Udvine in a new window is when you got all static. Really? Outdoor, oh, you also got a new neck knife tonight? Did you send me photos? I got to hear about this. What did you get? Which neck knife did you buy? I'm just getting comfy here, guys. Because if Outdoor is buying new bush stuff, I want to get comfy because I want to hear all about it. Austin's Corner, how's it going? Uber Levin makes a nice stove too called the Stoker. I'd like to pick up one of their bloody hell. For some reason I want to say fire rod. Stupid. Ferro rods. Like one of the big ones. MSR makes a metal universal canister stand that is pretty good. That's what I wanted to hear because I was trying to remember. I'd seen a stand somewhere, but I couldn't bloody remember. So if it's MSR, they probably have it at like Mountain Equipment Co-op or something, right? Austin's Corner made a stove from an ammo can. Wasn't cheap or money saving, but you sure had fun making it. How did you do that? Did you make a video? I would watch that. Weight is the only problem with the stove in the bulk, but you usually stuff things like birch bark or whatever into the hollows. Yeah. And the thing is with those round stoves, they're not as packable, right? They don't pack flat. I have the same issue with my IKEA one. You know, it's funny because maybe the issue is more my my Dayruck Scout. I'm finding it's a little smaller than I would like. Like if I had money, I would buy a full-on Dayruck and pass the Scout to Camille. Where am I? There are also cheap plastic ones. Yeah, that might be the way to go. Tenenbaum. Mike Morton, how's it going? Did you miss anything important? Come on, man. You always miss something important when I'm here. I'm talking about beer. I'm talking about Bushcraft. I'm showing off beer. Excuse me while I show the beer off again. Mike, I know you're drinking something, and it's going to be something cool. What are you having? Rick Anderson, 304 stainless steel Scout stove. Works great. Bought each of your boys one. Okay, that sounds. 304 stainless steel Scout. And where'd you buy those? Whoa, we're moving. Hold on. Gonna show what Tenenbaum just did. Because YouTube, stop YouTube. Oh, you got the Blind Horse Knives patch knife. Okay. You're really, Mr. Outdoor. You're up in the status on your knife purchases there. Serge is being a great big jerk again. I see. I can't come because you might faint at the price. Zach knows. $20 at Mech. Yeah, I mean, I'll take a look at it then. Just it's a safety thing that I think about more now that Cody's coming camping and hiking with me. You know, we shot a video this week that I hope to hell I'll get up by Friday. And we were on like a picnic table that was kind of slanty and not all that stable. And like every time she bumped the table or something, I was like, oh God, please don't turn over, you know? Where are we? Simone, you're transforming your ammo can into toolboxes and cases for. Yeah, I would like to pick up an ammo can, actually. You can use it for anything, practically. Hey, Axe Junkies is here. How's it going, mister? $100, Austin? Okay. I'll take a look for those videos. Jonathan, the Swedwoods has the Swedwoods channel. Okay, I'll check that out too. Oh, Mike, I'm having Salamagon. It's out of focus because, of course, it is. It's an American amber ale that is tasty. It's a little it's more sparkly and a little sharper than I was expecting, but it's pretty good. For the benefit of outdoor, I'll say it had notes of lavender, and I think I detected a little touch of peach fuzz across the top there. But deep down inside, there were notes of copper, espresso, maybe purple. Where were we? Mike just finished a cherry porter. Nice choice. Tenenbaum Tenenbaum just sent the link for the universal canister stand that I will be purchasing fairly soon in the name of safe-defying my daughter. Oh, for crying out loud. Windows, your keyboard shortcuts bite. Let me copy it with the mouse. Doing it the old-fashioned way. Here's a question. Here's an interesting thing. I got a comment from Paul Bikima on my my gas canister video last week. What he does is he writes the burn times of the canister on the bottom. So he keeps track that way. You know, he's like, okay, because he knows how long you get out of a canister like that. And he only really ever cranks it up to full to boil water or something. He never simmers anything, and I don't either. I crank it to full, you know. And so what I'm wondering is, how long does one of those little shorty canisters last? Like how many? Because if you're going to use the timing to keep track, you have to know exactly. You have to know how many minutes a full canister is worth, right? If you break it up over, because you almost never boil one of those for like an hour at a time, right? So you got to kind of know, you know. Jake Levesque, how's it going? How is it going, Jake? Man, outdoor, you buy stuff for nothing. It's unbelievable. Just found that we can't search for English terms in the French version of the Mac.ca website. That is interesting. Very, very interesting. No, you can't taste peach fuzz. I was just going all purple prosy for outdoor dauber's benefit. Yeah, well, first world problems. I live in the first world, okay, mister. But yeah, it's kind of hard to... Yeah, you're right. Jake, where I'm from, I live in Montreal. You don't really have a marker with you on a canoe trip. You just do the scientific shake test. Okay. You're running on empty, wishing I had more to say, wishing the best. All right, Austin, have a good one. Maybe we'll see you next time. Rick, yes, some people weigh them. That was another comment that was dropped on my video. I don't tend to bring like a kitchen scale or anything into the bush with me, but I usually have access to like a big pot of water or like a lake or something, which is why I just did sort of the float thing. Austin's corner is also he's also on the side of weighing them. You're living in a world between Swedish and English, and you want to use both together sometimes. Yeah, that makes sense. Serge lit a fire with that Yakari Kupo. Nice. To Fitzroy Harbor? What the hell is that? Hold on, let me look that up. If I can get the damn keys to work on my... Oh, you're actually not that far. You're like Ottawa, like just outside of Ottawa. Nice. Yeah, it's just like a couple of hours away. Judging from what I saw, Fitzroy Harbor looks like a really nice place. Hold on. Where? Okay. Jonathan can't say either. He's got an early rise. Okay, have a good night, mister. But Jake, yeah, that looks like a nice little town you've moved into. Once you know what the canister itself weighs, you can know almost exactly. Yeah, that's a good point. Because the one thing with my water method is I kind of have to have an absolutely empty canister and know where that sits in the water. I have a canister upstairs that's absolutely empty now, and I'll just, I'll plop it into some water and mark it. AliExpress doesn't like Canadians. Shipping is always between half and double the cost. Yeah, man, that's my experience too, Zach. Your experience what many Acadians have been going through for decades. Good old outdoor dauber, eh? Usually take a new one on a trip. I would do the same. 4-ounce can will last me 4 or 5 days boiling just for supper. Hey, Pine Martin, how's it going, mister? I saw that you packed your boats away for the winter. I bet you that was sad. A sad moment. Martin, I wanted to ask you something because one of your boats was upside down on trestles, and the other one was right side up on the floor. Does it, if you're storing your boat, your canoe for a full season, does it make a difference which way you fold it? You fold it, right? Which way you store it? Because when I was Kijijiing, our interim boat, I saw one canoe was for sale for cheap because the bottom had sort of flattened up, and I was wondering if that was because of long-term storage or if maybe it had partly melted under the sun or something. But I couldn't figure out what the hell would make a boat kind of go. So I was wondering if it had something to do with the storage or something, Outdoor Dauber is asking Serge if it's flint and steel or ferro rod. Jake, that's an interesting question. Would it depend on what stove you use? If they have the same BTUs, then you could time it. Yeah, maybe. That's an interesting question. I don't know, because for instance, my stove is the Primus Classic Trail stove. Does that use gas at a different rate than another single burner stove? Maybe it does. In fact, it most likely does. In which case, the timing aspect is unique to each stove. Oh, as Jake goes on to say, just because different stoves have different BTUs, so it depends on what stove you use. Yeah, Pine Martin knows. Storing them boats for the winter. Tenenbaum says it really depends on the construction, but turned over is a good practice and not in direct sunlight, or tarped is good too. Oh, Martin, yeah, okay. All right. I decided not to buy that boat, by the way, just because I didn't want to buy something that already had a problem that I would have to deal with. Is it fixable, easily fixable, or is it a real drag to deal with? Mike says lately he's been using the BRS ultralight titanium stove from Amazon. I don't know that one. Again, depends on construction. Yeah, okay. In honor of Martin, I've got scotch for later. And you'd have to feel like a real prize fighter to let a boat get damaged like that, eh? I didn't think about it. What do you mean you didn't think about it? You didn't think about the weight that Montreal style snow would have on your boat? What? In late winter and early spring, rain will impose a huge burden of weight on the hull. Now, Martin, would that have more of an effect when it's right side up though? If you get a huge rain dump into inside a boat that's right side up, or would a lot of rain? What do you mean, like the rain falling on snow makes it heavier and more like that compacted slush and create weight? Some people treat canoes terribly. Yes, that is true. You got a poly boat that hogged bottom hanging right side up in your garage. Whoops. But now you've got an aluminium boat, so you kind of don't care. Am I right? Oh, it's irreparable. Okay. Zach uses a Coleman 533 dual fuel as a camp stove. Nice. Nice. Wet snow is big. Yeah, wet snow weighs. Yeah, absolutely. I had to deal with wet snow today, in fact. Man, outdoor, I feel so stupid. Guys, when I was out in Penticton a few months, like in the summer, on the block, one over from my dad's place, there was a guy with one of those Grumman aluminium canoes on the top of his car. And every time I passed it, I wanted to like, Dad, stop the car. I got to go and take a picture of that boat. And I never did. And then when I finally said, okay, Dad, when we get around the corner, I need you to pull over because there's a boat halfway down on the top of a car and I need to take a picture for one of my subs. And it was gone. And the guy was obviously gone on a trip because he wasn't back for the entire time the rest of the time I was there. I was like, are you kidding me? Really? Is that how it's going to be? Yeah, that's how it's going to be. But I'm not very happy about it. Yeah, Martin, I can well imagine that because, I mean, a boat is designed to have a certain shape. So if you mess with the shape, the whole design theory is thrown off. I mean, I have more experience in sailboats than canoes or rowboats even, but you know, hulls are designed with a certain goal in mind. The boat that I crew on is a 30-foot French-built boat made in the 70s with a whole lot of tumble home on it. It was big when that boat was made. Everyone was building it with massive tumble home just because but there isn't a lot of tumble home on sailboats right now. They're all much more sort of straight-sided because boat design goes through fads and trends just as much as clothing design or car design or motorcycle design or whatever, But I mean, so just going from that, obviously it would be the same with a canoe. A hull is designed a certain way. You got to keep it that shape or it's an uncontrolled experiment. Getting into it and trying to go somewhere, I would have thought flipping a canoe would avoid problems storing outside. Clearly, you don't own a canoe. You got to get one, Sales. You and I, we each have to get a canoe. Then we have to go somewhere. If it's made of aluminium, that would probably do it. Hog bottom poly boat makes one hell of a toboggan. Okay. Hey, Hike with Mike is here. How's it going, mister? Yeah, Tenenbaum, it's funny because when Outdoor got his aluminium boat, the question I had was, does it glare at you in the sun? Does it get really hot because of reflected sun? I wouldn't have thought to buy an aluminium boat. But I think Outdoor, you said it wasn't so bad because the inside is more of like a scuffed up matte finish, right? So outdoor storage should be leaning against a fence or something on its side, tarped, slightly raised off the ground. Good to know. Zagman here too. Axe Junkies, what's on your back burner? Grummins have a flat paint inside to reduce that. Okay. But it does wear off. Yeah, well, everything wears off on aluminium, anything, right? You like the lightweight of the aluminium canoes? Wait a minute, Axe Junkies, what? That sounds interesting. Tenenbaum, when you tripped for camps, you spent a lot of time in the stern of a 17-foot Grumman. Nice. Or better yet, stored inside, which is what I would opt for. If I ever get the money together to redo my garage, it'll have a canoe storage area on the ceiling. Absolutely. Put a strip of carpet in the bottom, quiet and reduce glare. Yep. Pine Martin, man, funny. Tenenbaum, Pine Martin, he pilots a. He's got a. I think you got a couple of Swifts, right? Your canoes are both Swifts. California is burning, so time is tight. California is burning. Oh, yeah, you'll get a lake to go with it. Yeah, me too. Serge, you and I each have to win the lottery. Buy a small plot of land on a lake. Build a log cabin. And drop the hell out of society. Well, you might not have to drop out of society, but I would like to. Okay, you had a Novacraft. Okay, Martin, because I remember you mentioning Novacraft, but I didn't remember seeing one in any of at least your recent videos. So, Action Junkies, is there anything you can talk about yet, or is it kind of a wait and see thing? I think that wildland firefighting tools are going to be a major growth market over the next several decades. I think it's good that you guys are moving into that area. What's the chance for a Can-Am Boundary Waters trip? Well, once I have a canoe, probably not bad. Now, there's an issue with your Border Patrol guys jumping all over Canadians who accidentally cross that border. So I would have to stop in the middle of the water, and you would have to stop in the middle of the water, and we would put a barge there and start a little fire on there. But actually, I think it would be cool to do that trip. The designs are not ready for prime time, still in R&D. Okay. Yeah, you got to check in if you want to really cross. Yeah, absolutely. Just continue to prescribe burns. This eliminates the threat of massive wildfires. Alberta is doing has been doing planned burns as a way of mitigating the pine beetle. They burnt down, because British Columbia has been like essentially laid waste by this bloody pine beetle, which makes me sad because my favorite trees are definitely the conifers. Outdoor, you know it, man. You know it. We already make Combi, Tool, McLeod, Council, Rake, and Pulaski. Yeah, I've been spending a lot of time at the council's site lately. Not really looking for wildlife firefighting tools because I have no reason to use them, but I keep looking at all the axes. But yeah, I've come across some. It's funny, like you sort of get this idea of a company being a one-trick pony in a lot of ways. Like I sort of thought of Council Tool as axes. That's it. But there's no reason to see it that way. There's no reason for a company, for a tool making company, which is what Council Tool is, to not make tools. I would like to be able to access a piece of land where I could do like full-on tool tests, you know? Like I have a hard time asking to review or test a tool like an axe or something because I don't really have a back 40 where I can just sort of get right into it, you know? So it's sort of it's been a bit of a damper on one aspect of my channel that I'd really like to up. But I'm optimistic that I will, because like Serge and I have access to a nice little spot of land. But there are two things with that. We have to get our schedules together, and the people who own the land have to get their schedules together with us to make it work. And also, I don't want to go onto someone else's land and start whapping down trees, even if they are standing deadwood, and getting permission, like without getting permission, and asking someone, "Hey, can I chop down trees if they're dead? At least." It's like, wait, you want to chop down trees? That's why I got to win that lottery. I just got to do it, man. But yeah, outdoor, man. I think at some point we should do something like that. Work it out. Like I would register with your side of the border, you register with mine, because as Tenenbaum was saying, if you're going to cross the border, you got to check in. You know, now more than ever. Actually, only 25% of what you make. Yeah, it's even Gransfers and companies like that have had like other tools as part of their their production. It'd be funny if council made a gavel. Zach brings up. Zach doesn't say much, but when he does, it's kind of a bullet, you know. Yeah. Yeah. It's funny because I had I was going to do a compare and contrast between this guy here and the council because for a couple of reasons. Like if you look at most axe makers nowadays, like Hoffman, Toronto Blacksmith, blah blah blah, these are moving general design much more than the traditional American shapes have, aside from council tool. They're like the one guy left who's building, like I think you guys have Dayton's and stuff. Everyone else is making Scandinavian style axes these days, it seems. Wait, no, there's that guy. There's that little guy in Maine. I don't remember. And like Snow and Neely is back in business, but generally speaking, most guys are making Scandinavian style. What I wanted to do was to compare and contrast between that small forest axe and whatever was the closest council tool. And someone had said that their basic boys axe was as close as you get to that format, that length and that weight. And there was a guy who had a retail spot in the States who said that he would send me one for the sake of the review, but I never. I think maybe the shipping charge probably killed it for him. But I wasn't going to get back to him and say, "Hey, yo, man, where's the axe you promised me?" Like, no. If it doesn't go through, it doesn't go through. I'm not going to get angry that it didn't go through. One thing that I've always done, because I used to do review. Start again. One thing that I have consistently done, that I started when I was a professional reviewer, is I always offer to send the item back. Because I don't want people to ever get the idea that I do reviews to get free stuff, to get free swag. So I always offer to either send it back or do a giveaway if that would make them more comfortable, And some companies have asked for the item back. Fine. It's not right. Because I do a review to do a review. Some have just let me keep the items. I did a review of like the Mora Companion years ago on my channel. And I told them, look, I'm going to give it away at the end of the review. Are you okay with that? And they were fine with it, of course. And, they were good to deal with. They sure as hell were not going to send me a Garberg, though. I mean, I'm a micro channel. I'm not going to hold that against them, I say too much. Where the hell were we? We make a 3-pound engineering hammer. It's pretty close. Are you sure about that? Council Tool aren't the only company that is restarting R&D about forest firefighting. Yeah, I saw that about the new version of Water Bomber. But moving to Alberta for the Water Bomber program. Well, it's nice to know that someone in Alberta is doing something other than suffering because of the dip in oil. But yeah, I'd still like to at some point do a head-to-head between my small forest axe and whatever is the closest council tool. The thing is, the closest council tool will probably be, that's an expensive axe these days, right? Those are creeping ever closer to $200, which is ridiculous. So if like the closest council tool in terms of weight and length is like whatever the sport utility line, then it might not be on the fit and finish side. It might not be a fair comparison, but I can't go throwing $200 at an axe just to do that kind of review on. But it does dovetail with my drive to get some more American axes into my collection, just so that when we're talking about axes, like, you like the Dayton pattern? I can say, sure, yeah, of course. Why do you like it better than Michigan? Right now, I probably don't, I know the differences between the two, but I haven't held the two in my hand. And I don't think I can have an actual opinion until I've seen them up close, Simo, I'm pretty sure that trapper axe that he was working on is the Flying Fox. You've seen the Flying Fox, haven't you, Simo? That's a sexy little axe, man. That Flying Fox is cool. Am I right, Craig? That was the one that became the Flying Fox, wasn't it? Let me just check. What time are we at? Are we at 22:38 already? See, I start a half hour late, and the time just goes. Does anyone know if Dennis is still doing his live stream? You router crapped out for a few seconds. Okay. I just bought a router, but I mean the tool, the plunge router, because I really had to finish that. I have to finish that workbench. It's like the most unending project ever, but now it's almost done. I have drilled all the bench dog holes. I have fixed that god-awful gouge that I made with that old router, that Black & Decker router. I have flush cut the pieces of wood I put in to fix that. I've been putting pictures on my Instagrammage. And now the only thing that's left is to sand the top down and oil it. I can smell the end of this project. I cannot believe how long it's taken, just because of the fact that I couldn't get to it every weekend. And life sucks. Yes, the Flying Fox Woodsman hatchet. Yeah, it is. Where are we? It's Serge Outdoor. You see what Serge just wrote? He's got the ideas, man. He's a smart cookie, that guy. Oh, so Dennis is still going. Okay. Yeah. It's too bad that I missed that tonight. I would have liked to have seen that. I keep thinking that maybe I should just move my live stream to Monday nights, so that we're not, so that we're not both scheduled on the same night. But I'll speak to the wife, see if I can move it to another night. I think Monday nights are the only other night I can do, because sometimes I gig on Wednesday nights. Sometimes, like tonight, I have meetings at my daughter's school on Tuesday nights. So, whatevs. But outdoor, man, that would be a good idea. Like all that, how every now and again you send me a link to like a Bushcraft USA post or something about like a Norland hatchet for $80. I should say, buy it. I'm seeing you in 2 months at Outwine, at Outvine. I'll just pick it up from you. Here's the money, kind of thing. That's what I should do. I just have to make sure that I can get south of the border at the appointed time. Monday night is bad for you. See. And I would like to start an hour earlier. I would like Hamza to come online without it being 3 a.m. I would like Tenenbaum to come online without it being wickedly late for him. Hold on a second. Simo, I don't know if they're across the border yet. Hold on. Yeah, because Bushcraft Canada is my go-to place for the council tool stuff. What they have is the Woodcraft 18-inch pack axe, council tool Woodcraft Camp Carver axe, which, as you guys know, I would love to have. The Velvet saddle axe, which, as you guys also know, I would love to have. And that's about it. Oh, and the Woodcraft 23-inch pack axe. So there's a Canadian distributor, but I haven't actually seen one in stores yet. Oh, Monday night is Scouts, okay. But Monday would work for Martin. Yes, Young and Mackenzie. Thank you, Craig. That's what I was trying to remember. They're a distributor rather than a retailer, but they will probably be able to point you to someone who they distribute some cool stuff. They distribute the what are those like axe maintenance products called? What's that company called? Kyle knows where they did a roundup on them relatively recently, because he's got enough viewers that he's starting to get stuff sent to him. Knife and axe, yes, that's it. Thanks, guys. Any of you guys used any of that stuff? I was thinking of trying it out, but it's not the kind of thing that excites me. Now, buying a plunger router doesn't excite me either, but I did that recently. Getting the workbench finished does excite me, though. But yeah, has anyone tried the knife and axe products yet? I can't always trust the people. No, that's not the way I want to say that. I can't always trust what I see when someone on YouTube says, I just got this stuff from Knife and Axe. Because even if someone says, my opinions are my own, the fact is, if you receive something from someone and they spoke to you and they come across as nice people, you kind of want to give them a free ride. I'm saying this as someone, as I've said, who for a long time reviewed stuff professionally for a large Canadian magazine, for a website, for another website. Hold on. Man, Origin is really bugging me tonight. Yeah, it seems that most people here well, most of the people who've answered me would prefer if we keep it on Tuesday nights. So sucks to be me. Or maybe I'll get Dennis to move to Monday nights. Axe Junkies, I'm not sure if that really works that way. But if you sent something to Outdoor Dauber and I picked it up next time in the States, I would pretty much have to say nice things. Maybe not about the thing you sent. Martin, you that's why you turn down all gear and swag offers. I don't turn them all down. There's like someone contacted me with an offer of some very cool stuff that was all firearms related, and I'm not going to, even owning 2 firearms, I will not do firearms related stuff on my channel. I feel that, especially with the changes coming December 10th, I'm just hanging on by my fingernails as it is to having a channel, because as of December 10th, they can just take my channel away from me with no explanation if it's not economically viable for them to let me have the channel. So, like I said, no, I'm not doing anything firearm related. Zach says, is a 1973 Ford Bronco Auto in good shape, missing its front fenders, worth 10 grand Canadian? I wouldn't spend that, because if it's in good shape, where the hell are the front fenders? I don't like the way things are going down between Outdoor Dauber and Axe Junkies here. I'm feeling a little left out of the goodies here. Speaking of left out of the goodies, we haven't spoken about the idea of doing that pass around in a few weeks. I mean, we haven't spoken about it in a few weeks. So I don't mean let's start the pass around in a few weeks. But I still think it's a good idea. I had set up a Signal. No, I've invited everyone who had told me they were interested to Signal. Not everyone's downloaded Signal yet. I feel crass saying get Signal, because I don't want to come across like I'm pushing Signal. I'm looking for a space where I can send a message and everyone will get it. Someone else can send a message and everyone will get it. And there are a couple of us up here in Canada who are very security minded. So we're not going to do like, excuse me, iChat or something like that. Zach, are Broncos just really expensive? Is it like is it a desirable classic kind of thing? Because I don't drive American, so I don't really know. Aside from like Jeeps, there are some old Jeeps that people seem to like. The Land Rover Defender, no matter how old it is, can be very, very expensive because it's the most beautiful car in the world. The 4-door, not the 2-door. Same with Jeeps. 4-door, man. Don't mess around. Don't waste my time with a 2-door. Oh, the Canadian Outdoor Equipment Company has it on. Okay, good. $60 Canadian? That's a great price. I may have to pick one up. Let's not go bombastic here. I've been really, really trying to keep my my axe purchasing down. Nick Adams is grumbling. What's going on, Mr. Nick? What is going on? What's the point of having a Jeep if you're going to ruin your turning rates by learning? Yes, that's a very good point. the Serge, that Cherokee, it's fun. Anyway, hey, Wood Pigeon, how's it going? um, Nick, I'm not a serious outdoorsy guy, but and here's the thing. I can't hunt where I used to hunt because we lost the whatever terrain is called, the terrain, the land, the plot, wherever. We lost our rights. But to get there during certain weather events required a full-on 4x4. And I am not driving a frickin' F-150. Period. I've always really liked the styling of certain Jeeps and certain Land Rovers. Not Range Rovers. They disgust me, but Land Rovers. And I've always preferred the extra room of a four-door. And I love the look of the longer Jeeps and Land Rovers. It looks more finished to me. That doesn't look good, but it has more to do with having the extra seats, having the extra space, because a Wrangler is not massive on the storage, But because I'm not a dedicated off-roader in terms of like rock hopping or doing Moab or anything, it's a little less important to me. And honestly, if I was to buy a Jeep right now, like tonight, if I was to say, take my money, it would be a Renegade. Because they're the only Jeep that gets the kind of gas mileage and the efficiency that I see as like the baseline for me. My wife's CX-5 is a pretty efficient, like with this Sky Active, stupidly named engine drive. It's pretty good on the efficiency, and I do tend to think about carbon footprint a lot, even though I love me a Jeep or Land Rover, Nick, oh, you're big on Jeeps. You're all like Jeep life. I've never actually owned one. I've been in a bunch of them. I know that the Wrangler is the Jeep that I love the look of the most, because it's like the traditional Jeep to me. Not really comfortable driving them. They drive a little too much like a truck. But man, like it's the Sahara Unlimited Edition in white. Take my frickin' money now. Welded back door shut and she'll turn just fine. Actually, Nick, in that case, I'll ask you, what do you think of that new pickup, the Wrangler pickup? What the hell do they call it? The Spartan? Did I get that right? What do you think of that? Because when that came out, I thought, I like that. But it kind of throws me a little, but I kind of like it. Like, it's not a full-on pickup. Like, I keep wondering if it's a little too much of a hybrid between two different kinds of things, or if that pickup box is actually workable. You're back from Mexico. All right, Wood Pigeon. You got some video, I'm sure. Zach, get a Polaris or Can-Am side by side. To get through the trails, yeah. I mean, to get to the land. Unfortunately, Fiat has destroyed Jeep. Here's the thing, Serge. Every single company that has owned Jeep has gone bankrupt. And they've been owned by a lot of companies. They've been like AMC. They've been like, Chrysler has essentially gone, right? They've been, what the hell is it called? Eagle? There's been a bunch of companies that have owned Jeep, and they've all gone under. Fiat was in trouble. Chrysler was in trouble. So going like this, I don't know. I don't know if what the long-term viability of that company is going to be. But one thing that Fiat knows how to do, it's how to build a plain Jane car, which is probably part of the reason that they were in trouble. The Renegade is built on the Fiat 500 XL or X or whatever's their sort of beefier one. It's the same as the Panda or something, Wranglers are really our trucks. Yeah. Oh, Gladiator. Okay. Yeah. 1993 Jeep Wrangler Sahara was your girlfriend's first vehicle. Nice. Wood Pigeon, you like the YJ? Why? Yeah, Nick. Yeah, Okay, yeah, you just prefer that shorter. Your first car was an Escort. My first car was a Toyota Camry, a 1998 Toyota Camry, which I just recycled last year or the year before. I only started driving at the age of 37. Oh, which means I've been driving for 10 years now. I mean, I know that sounds weird, but I'm a Montrealer. And like Montrealers are like Manhattanites. It's like, I don't need to drive. Let's kick it up a notch here, guys. Let's kick it up a notch. Please note that I'm using unofficial Glencairn glass. They cost too much. But they cost too much because there's only one company making these glasses. I think I've mentioned this before, so I'm just going to shut up about it. It's still such a new design that Glencairn still has the trademark or patent or whatever. Martin, this is for you. Sip at the front, roll to the back, and swallow. Get a vintage Jeep Wagoneer. Oh, wow. Jeep is the only true American sports car. Enzo Ferrari. Ha. All right, Nick. See you soon. Let me know what kind of beer you got when you get back. Serge. Yeah, I remember that old Cherokee of yours. Boom, 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 crack, crack, rattle, trap. But I mean, Martin, what are you drinking tonight? Do you have a beer or do you have a whiskey with you? Yeah, Simo, I saw he had a whole series on restoring that Cherokee. I didn't watch a lot of it because excuse me, because I'm not into a lot of what he did. For instance, I am aggressively averse to lift kits stuff, but it looked like an interesting. I watched some of it, I did watch some of it just because I'm impressed by anyone. No, I respect people who will take an old car and just restore it and keep it on the road rather than just like I only recycled my Camry. Like I had changed my own brakes. I was starting to excuse me, and we can't even keep track anymore outdoor. I was starting to do like serious work on my car, but when the whole muffler and exhaust system fell out again, there were too many things going wrong. The electrics were shot. Some things I was not equipped to, because there's the thing, I was not equipped. Every time I wanted to change like the brakes or the side mirror or something, because a dump truck took it off the mirror, I had to get a buddy with automotive tools to come over and help me because I didn't have the stuff, So I like watching these projects where guys keep an old vehicle on the road for, like a few more years. Nick Adams is back. Did you miss anything? No, we're just chatting. What kind of beer did you go get? Massey Ferguson 135. I don't even know what that is. Zach, a snifter glass will work almost as good as a Glencairn. Yes, except I like the size better on the Glencairn. This one I got for free because I was at at a Scotch tasting in Calgary. I got 2 of these. Also, the snifter is meant to be held in the hand. Like the idea behind the snifter is that the heat of your hand warms up the alcohol. Like for something like sherry, that really brings out the nose and everything. But there's no reason to do that with Scotch. The Glencairn is shaped so that you can do a proper nose. Pine Martin. Oh, you're not drinking anything. Going for blood test in the morning. Okay. All right. Part of your annual physical. Ugh. Outdoor. Don't keep track, man. You're just. I don't want you to get dinged. You were 9 years old. It was still working fine on Uncle's farm. What is it? Is it a tractor? All right. See you, Sash. Damn it, Zach. Why did you send double it? Oh, okay. Oh, Nick, you got a drive-through beer store? I don't know if there are any of those in Quebec at all. Simon will know. I watched something really cool. I know we're after 11. I just want to maybe we'll go to 11:15. All in favor of going to 11:15 say aye. Don't for God's sakes. We'll go until 11:15. All right, Tenenbaum. See you later. Nice to chat with you. Chris Prouse and Kevin Callan each did a video where they interviewed each other, and it was very interesting to watch the different interview styles because Chris Prouse is very low key, and I think she sort of tries to keep it documentarian, whereas Kevin is I mean, he's a kooky guy. He's a hilarious guy. He's fun to watch. He doesn't try to keep his cool on. He just. But it was interesting to watch because I watched both videos where and they interviewed each other, and I love that kind of stuff because it when you see that, it says almost as much about the interviewers as it does about the interviewees, and that's the kind of thing that you don't see if you don't have 2 videos of them interviewing each other. They're common in Ohio. Okay. Yeah, I don't know if I've ever seen a drive-in. Maybe I've seen one in Ontario. Like I think there was a beer store I was in where there was a drive-through in the back, maybe. Zach, yes, black and tan is definitely. Kevin is the real deal. Yes, he is. Absolutely. I have a lot of respect for that guy. I've spoken to him a little bit. We're not friends or anything yet, but I'm impressed by the fact that he's a guy with 13 books under his belt, and he is still so friendly and kooky and yet down to earth about what his expectations are and what his, we need more people putting out books who present themselves like that. Because I've met some authors who are very, very, I don't want to say attitudinal about it, but they are aware of what their name is worth, shall we say. And it's like speaking to Kevin for the first time is the antidote to all that. And yeah, black and tan is a definitely fighting words in Ireland. Now, granted, a black and tan is also a drink, right? I mean, aside from the name of a beer in Ohio, it's like half Guinness, half. Technically, a black and tan, I think, is half Guinness and half Smithwick's, right? You pour, I think, the Smithwick's or Harp. I think it's Smithwick's. Half the glass is Smithwick's, and then you pour the Guinness over a spoon so that you end up with two distinct halves. There's also a black velvet, which is Guinness and cider, I think. Or is a cider a poor man's velvet? No, I think a black velvet is Guinness and cider. Is a black and tan actually Guinness and Harp? No, I'm pretty sure it's Smithwick's. I think so. But yeah, you pour it over a spoon so that they don't mix. $10 for a 12-pack? Yikes. Axe Junkies. Kevin is an educator, not really an author. Well, look, I mean, he writes books. I get what you're saying. He's definitely he's definitely more of an educator. But like, I mean, I have books by him. In fact, I recently bought one because he dropped me a challenge to write something that I don't want to talk about too much because I think I might try to do it. It's just going to be very bloody difficult. Simone knows about it, but he's not going to talk about it either. Harp? Oh, maybe it's Harp. Yeah. An Irish car bomb is also a drink. Yeah, my wife and I will never drink another Irish car bomb, most likely. We had a very staggering night. We were out for a real early date of ours. Well, we were already living together by that point, but we did date night. We went out, we saw a movie, had supper, went to Hurley's Irish pub, which is where my band plays fairly often. Had a few drinks. I think we'd already had a few drinks by the time we got to the pub. Like we're not pre-drink people, and we're not teenagers, but where we were, I think we'd had some like whiskeys or some damn thing. Anyways, we're at Hurley's. We had some drinks, and we were just like, "Oh God, okay, we're done. I can't do it." And we were sort of starting to get up and ready to go, and there was a band playing called Salty Dog, and we knew those guys from a long time ago. We'd known them for I'd known them for 10 years because I played the same circuit. Herself didn't know them very well. She'd met them and spoken to them, but she hadn't been part of the scene. She's still not part of the scene. I'm part of the scene. And so the bass player from Salty Dog sort of, did this to the bar and did this to them. And so that two more bloody drinks showed up. But before that, she and I had been drinking Irish car bombs because I'd never had one. I'd seen people drinking them. I'm sort of like, don't fall on the stage kind of thing. I was like, let's do it. Let's try it because we were already drinking. So we had them, man. We were 3 sheets to the wind, man. And we were like, okay, we got to go. And he says, bring them 2 more beer. 2 more Guinness show up. I'm like, oh. We're not very happy about this, but we're going to drink them. And man, we staggered home. Holy crap. We lived at the bottom of a street called, we lived at in Westmount here. Westmount is a very affluent neighborhood. It's one of the 2 most affluent neighborhoods in North America. Not because there's more money than there is in parts of California, but because our neighborhoods don't have extreme rich and extreme poverty in the same neighborhood the way they do in the States. It's very bloody affluent. But I lived in the armpit of Westmount on a street called Selby. The entire street's now gone because they moved. They're moving a highway, like one highway width south. And they just took out the street. And there was a park across the street, and we were like stumbling home, and it took forever. We're walking home, and what else? And then there was like a cop car there, and for some reason we what was it? I don't know. We went to the park. Like there was a park right across the street, and we went to the park. And I guess because parks are closed after 11 and we were at like 3, a cop car crept by. So we both hunkered down behind the bush. I haven't thought about that night in a long, long time. Why was... Oh, yeah, because of Irish car bombs. Anyways, we probably ain't going to drink another Irish car bomb anytime soon. What the hell's the Three Wise Men? Black and tan is a Guinness over an Irish Pale Ale. Okay. Outdoor Dauber is having tech problems. Kevin has recently started to self-publish, which means that he gets to keep some of the money. Yes, his latest book is self-published, which I only knew about because... Craig, do you listen to the Paul Kirtley podcast? Because he was interviewed on the most recent one, and he was talking about that. And I think it's funny because I am dying to put out a book. But for someone like me who doesn't have a following yet, the self-publishing... You keep more of the money when you self-publish. You keep a lot more of the money, like maybe 40%. But for him to self-publish as an established author is one thing. For me to decide, I'm going to write a book and I'm going to self-publish, I will end up with a stack of books in the back and I'll have thrown away a few grand for nothing, you know? Sake bombs. Shot of sake balanced on chopsticks over a glass of Sapporo. You hit the table to knock the shot in the glass. I do not like sake, though. You follow the Happy Camper YouTube channel? Yeah, I do as well. Johnny Walker, Jim Beam, and Jack Daniels. Woo! Fireside chats. Yeah, I like his fireside chats. In fact, where he interviewed Chris Prouse was his whiskey fireside chat. Without the fire. I feel so separated, you know, because there are so many YouTube bushcrafters in southern and northern Ontario. And there's like... There are some here in Quebec, but I don't know any of them. Like, none of them have reached out to me. I haven't reached out to any of them. It's like a completely different group. And maybe because I work in English, I know the Ontario guys and like a couple of guys a little further west or south, but I don't get it, you know? It's weird. Excuse me. Yeah, man. Good yawn. Good yawn. So one of you guys? Edward Dauber just sent a picture of his new neck knife. Can I show this? Oh, this phone. Oh, wow, it is pretty. This is a blind horse, right? Yes, I can show it. Come on, focus. Look at that. What's that handle material, man? Oh, so cool. It's got like an old school look to it. Even though... Yeah, even the sheath has a real old school look to it. I like it. I like it a lot. Blind horse with micarta scales. Yeah, good looking knife. Holy crap, Dennis. All right, tell you what, we'll go to 11:30 now that Dennis is here. Dennis, I was about to get off in 1 minute, but now that you're here, I'm going to stick it out for another 15 minutes. Are we all in favor? I think we're all in favor because we're having a great time. I was having beer, now I'm having scotch. Wait. And once the scotch is done, I got tea. Yeah, Dennis, outdoor. Well, I think you know Dauber by now. He just keeps buying stuff at like blowout prices. What? All right, outdoor. See you later. I'm angry at you for leaving, though, man. You're cutting me deep here. Dennis on Jim Beam. Black. Dennis, I missed your entire live stream tonight. I had a governing board meeting at the Squirt School, and man, this was the live stream that I didn't want to miss. But I'm pretty sure it went swimmingly. So sorry about that. Zach, I do not put milk at all. I think tea is meant to be enjoyed, not disguised. It's funny, I have a story about why I stopped putting milk in my tea. I also just threw my phone across the floor, across the desk. Dennis, wait, okay. One thing, and then I'll get back to that. Dennis, do you leave your live streams up for like a day or two, or do you take them down right away? Because Martin was saying that you guys were talking about something I would be very interested to listen to. And I really like Kevin, man. I wanted to listen to that live stream just because he's got so much cool stuff to say, and he's so bloody funny. And I watch your stuff every bloody week. So you keep them up, okay? Yeah, view time hours. Well, what I do is I don't take them down, like delete them. I just make them private after 3 days. Well, I try to keep to 3 days, but because I have some viewers who can only get to them the next day or 2 days later. Wow, 4 hours though. I was having a conversation with the folkies here like a half hour ago, I guess. I had asked because I was thinking about maybe moving my live stream to Monday nights so that you and I aren't clashing anymore, and like maybe starting at 8. But for most people here, Tuesday is just better, you know. So hurts my soul. I also don't know if the wife would have been okay with me taking up Monday night. Because the thing about Tuesday night is it's already a blown night because I go with my daughter and channel co-host, Camille, to her karate class, and then we come home and it's right. I've already kind of lost the evening of home time. Whereas Monday nights, nothing really happens. So adding something to possible together time might not work. All right, Simo, see you later. Yes, I'll just keep looking at my options because otherwise I think I'm stuck with like maybe Thursday. You know what I'm going to do, guys? Now that like only half of you are still here, maybe I'll put a poll up as a post on my channel, and would you guys like maybe Thursdays? The thing is, fairly often on Thursday, I'm doing my last minute edits to get my video up, like up on YouTube, so it'll post at 9:30 in the following morning. It's just so difficult. Kevin, Dennis, sorry. I said Kevin because you were just talking with him. And I remember that live stream where you, Kevin, Martin, and I were all talking. Everyone was drinking scotch. Well, no, everyone was drinking whiskey. Date nights are Monday and Friday for you. Okay, Zach. So that's yet another vote against moving it to Monday. Oh well. You know what I'm saying? I think I'm going to reread this. It's been a while. This book looks brand new. Man, when I used to know how to take care of books. These days, man, after I've finished reading a book, it looks, it's like folded over on itself. I folded some pages. I better keep track of that one, and whoo, you know. And you can sleep in Wednesday morning. All right, so just for Zach, we're gonna keep it on Tuesday nights. It's too bad because, oh well. Well, I mean, I'll just go back to putting you on earlier and then cutting out when I've got my live stream, I guess. Because I'd also like to start at 8 and end at 10, kind of thing. Oh, I wanted to ask you guys how everyone's Remembrance Day was. I know in the States you have Veterans Day or something. I spent it in the hospital myself because Clemence ate something that she had an allergic reaction to, and we do not know what. So that's stressful. Aside from that, I got to show. Camille was asking, because they've been doing Remembrance Day units at school, so she was asking about the war, like did Germany start it or did we start it, kind of thing. And I segued into talking about my grandfathers, because I had one who was in an artillery regiment, and I had one who worked on Lancasters. By the way, the Lancaster is one of my top 2 aircraft. Top 2 favorites, man. And my favorite aircraft of all time are the Lancaster bomber and the Spitfire. And at the Aviation Museum in Ottawa, they've got both of them. I played a gig there for the Canadian Orthopedic Association. And I had not been to the Aviation Museum in a long time. So I walked in and I'm looking around, because we had a lot of time between setup and playing. And I come around a corner, and there was a Lancaster just sitting there, and right next to it was a Spitfire, and I was like, I can't handle this. There's something about them, man. They're just, and I had the opportunity to hear a Lancaster fly just once, and the specific tone of the rumble of those engines is, it was beautiful, just beautiful. Yeah. How the hell did I get on? Oh yeah, because for Remembrance Day, I got to tell Camille about her grandfathers, and like her uncle and her aunt. My half brother and half sister are both in the Air Force. Well, my half brother was Army. Anyway, and he's now in the Air Force, and he is very, very active in combat zones. He's been to Afghanistan. He was General Romeo Dallaire's bodyguard during the whole Arusha trials thing. He's been to Mali. Anywhere they essentially need a helicopter pilot who can take off and land under fire, that's where he goes. So, I sort of get to talk to Camille about these things without being like warmongery about it and without being dismissive about it. Hold on. Conflicts will always happen. Yes, they will. Date nights are Monday and Friday. Sorry, I'm just catching up. His new book is good. Once Around the Algonquin, an epic adventure. I am dying to read that. I'm going to order it as soon as I've got some money. And that's his self-published one. Okay, now she's, her appetite's off. Her sleep schedule is off. But her sleep schedule is off because the EpiPen is essentially a shot of adrenaline, right? So I'll just boom. And it takes her a couple of days to sort of adjust or get back to normal. But today, I couldn't get anything done because she wasn't feeling great. So she was all like, and she's 10 months old. She's not feeling great and she just wants to be snuggled all the time. I'm going to snuggle her all the time. If the laundry stays undone, I'm snuggling my kid, But what kind of universe does this to a 10-month-old? I always ask that, and no one has ever given me a good answer. Zach likes the Spitfire as well. Yeah, man, that's a beautiful plane. Oh, it's something. The Lancaster flies over your house all the time. It is stationed at the Hamilton Warplane Museum. I would love it if one of those flew over my head all the time. There's regular flyovers at the Hamilton Tiger Cats games. I might even go to I was going to say hockey. I may even go to a football game for that, just to hear that sound. Zach carries an EpiPen in your trauma kit. You know, it's funny because we obviously for Clem we buy EpiPen Juniors, and I sometimes wonder what, like, you know, because I walk up to the pharmacist and I say, I need another EpiPen. I don't know. I don't even want to talk about that, actually. Until we know exactly everything she's allergic to. I'm just scared all the time, you know? So we're just going to move right along. I'll videotape it for you at the game on Saturday. Yeah, man. Okay, but you know what I'm talking about? Like the sound of those engines? It's like it's the best engine sound ever. Spitfire is a close second. I like everything about that plane. I will not have a second one of those. But I will have tea. Oh, nice. Dennis, how do you... I keep meaning to like drop you a line to find out how the hell you end up with all these people on your live streams, and like on your live streams in the chat and on your live streams on the screen, because I would love to start getting more F411 Corsair, F4U11 Corsair. I'm in Windows, so keep my damned. Oh yeah. That's the wings like that. Is that your favorite? Is that the one that you? More work than what you do at work. Yeah, but you know what? I'm willing to do that work. You know. I've been Dennis. You know, I know we sort of chatted about this a little bit. I've started collecting people who are going to do those panel discussions that I mentioned. I'm excited to get that going. Yeah, that Corsair, that was a carrier plane, wasn't it? Wasn't it on aircraft carriers? There's probably a picture of it somewhere. No. What was the F4U Corsair used for? Vought F4U Corsair by Wikipedia. A restored F4U for Corsair in Korean War era U.S. Marine Corps markings. Carrier-based fighter bomber. Yeah. Okay, this is exactly what I thought it was. Zach Fudge. I was helping a friend clean out his grandparents' basement in an attic. Found a BP happily in there from the Boer War. Really? Oh, wow. Man, cool. That's cool. Actually, South Pacific Black Shoe. Okay, so it's funny because you know that imaginary line that I keep talking about, the border? It's funny how on one side of that imaginary line are guys who know exactly what canoe hounds God, what Craig is saying, like, because he knows the squadrons and everything. Up here, I don't know American anything. You know, I know what the Corsair is. I know what the Phantom is because it was kind of cool. But I know sort of the Canadiana version of that American knowledge. You know, like for me, my favorite rifle is the Lee Enfield, obviously. You know, number 4 Mark 1. The Mark 1 star is okay, but I don't like how they cut corners on certain things, and I don't like that it's a flip sight instead of a ladder. I know the Mark II is a very sexy gun. You know, I like the Spitfire the way a lot of Americans like something different from that era. I like the Lancaster the way a lot of Americans like something different from that era. And it's funny because that line between our two countries is so bloody imaginary. There are two completely different ways of living separated by this line that doesn't really exist. The town of Stansted in Quebec is right up against the border. And on the other side of the border, the same town, essentially. I mean, there are 2 city halls. But what I mean is the same agglomeration of houses is called Derby Line. It's in Vermont. And that imaginary line is so prevalent and so powerful that living on this street versus this street, you actually have a different accents. Up here, they sound Canadian, the typical Canadian accent. And down there, they're all American twang. The Vermont sort of accent. And they live so close together that why does that happen? And what I can think of is school, right? Because in one, it's an American school with American teachers and, the whole American system. And on the other side, it's the, Canadian school system. But what else would make people living that close, like 1 block over, sound completely different? That's weird. You know what I'm saying? That's weird. That's weird. For Special Service Force, the only one you know from the U.S. side of the war. Yeah, and like, I didn't even know what's it called? A Gladstone flag? Gladstone flag? You know that flag with the snake? Don't tread on me. I don't even know what that's from. But on the other side of the line, there are people who adore that flag. I have no idea what it's about. Isn't that weird? Isn't that weird? Like somebody drew a line on a map. And on one side of that line is one way of life, and on the other side of that map is another way of life. Line is another way of life. And look, the guys on the other side of the border for me, I can get along with just fine. I want one day to sit down and have a drink with Craig and with Outdoor Dauber, because we get along. We get the important things. For the important things, we're the same. We have the same interests. We have the same, It's just weird how, like, a bunch of guys, like, centuries ago, drew a line, put a couple of capitals, and for the rest of eternity, until our countries become one or the world ends or whatever, everything is different on either side of that border. And if I even touch that border, an American border guard is going to take me and drop me in a cell on that side of the border. That's weird. It's weird, and it gets in the way. It gets in the way because for me to just go down and say visit Axe Junkie, Craig, there's paperwork involved, or I have to show a passport or whatever. I can't just drive down the road. Even if he was living in Derby Line and I was living in Stansted, I couldn't just drive down the road. Or walk down the road. It's maudlin thoughts. It's terrible. I shouldn't even be. Oh, is Black Sheep Squadron a TV show? Glass tiger. All right, Dennis. I know what I'm looking up right after this live stream. Glass tiger. Yeah, that's what passports are for. That absolutely. In fact, I'll be using mine next week, I think. Axe junkies, yeah. Oh, it's after 11:30. Okay, guys, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go and mop the hell out of the kitchen and the living room because every time Clem picks something off the floor and puts it in her mouth, I think she's gonna have a reaction, and then my heart's gonna stop. So I'm gonna go and mop the entire house right now. But thanks for hanging out with me. I think this was a really fun live stream. It was nice to have a nice big group of the old crew back. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me and going late with me. And I will see you in the next episode. I don't know if it'll be next week because I might be in Las Vegas next week. I don't quite remember when we're flying. But at any rate, I'll see you the next time I can. And Alex, Nick, it was nice to see you. Zach, of course, it's always nice to see you. Mr. Dennis, always nice to see you. And I will definitely try to listen in on your next one. And stuff. Stuff. Yeah, stuff. Okay, good night, guys.